Before time, wasn't it? Pagalia. I'm Peter Salmon.
Hey,
Oh.
Dan.
Ngada Nyedagora. Ngada Madawan Yungu. Taralwagan Yungu. Nganaju Babu Yalla. Pugadiagano. Pugadiagano. Taralwagano. Urumagano. Nganaju Pebio Nyamio Yalla. Ngada Wakania. Inna. Wari Nganaju in the Yalla. Nyunga in the Yalla. Wari Baya or Ngadala. Nadawakania Nurapala Yallaka.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having us. I'm Rosie Sitorus, and I'm the translator tonight. I will translate literally where it's appropriate, and I'll translate a little less literally where it's appropriate. I'm also a bit of a memory device to help Peter get through his stories because he's been alive for 88 years. Yeah. Fuck yeah. And I don't know about you, but I'm only in my 30s and I can't remember shit. So he's like, oh, she's done this before. So Peter said, my name is Nyedagora, which is his language name. He is Mardowan Yungo, which means he's from Mardowan Station, which is Gifford Creek Station in the Upper Gascoyne. That his country is also Bugari Bagano, which is Wana Station, which is next door. It's also Woramagano, which is Edmund Station, which is the other next door. And his stepfather's country, which he also talks for, is Tarobagano, which is Mini Creek Station, which is just a little bit further down the road. He then said after that, I'm talking my language here on Nyunga country, so you Nyungas, please don't give us a fright for talking this language here. And that's just a way that he pays his respects to the Nyunga spirits and ancestors to make sure that they understand that this language is spoken with respect. So tonight we're going to tell you about a man who has not given in, despite being given 88 years of a pretty tough life. Peter was born in 1933 on Maroona Station, which is the other next door. He was born on Maroona Station at a time when Aboriginal people, and certainly what he calls half-caste Aboriginal people, which is not a phrase we use anymore, but it's what he was called for much of his life, at a time when those people were not afforded the rights or respect that they should have been and that they should be and mostly are today. So the first of these three little vignettes we're going to present to you. Also, there's no E in the word for vignette. That was my joke. I'm sorry, boss. He doesn't like it when I go off script. The first little vignette is the first time where he didn't give in, where he survived against the odds. And his life, as you'll see, has been surviving against a whole lot of odds. The first story comes actually from the day he was born. Welcome, Anora.
Ngadana, ngana yu pebiko, perugalan ngadana. Ngadana perugalanja charter kupania ngadala. Pebiko chogonja wara ngadala. Charter manager wara. Yena kupra ngana yu yena kupra matala. Tana padkaria yena matala. Ngadala kupra yena matala.
Now, before I translate, we drove down from Geraldton this morning And in the car, I'm like, right, we've got to practice this yarn, practice the bielba, which is story. Now, what did I say, boss? I said, wakama maraku. And what does that mean?
Wakama maraku.
Talk with your hands. Don't stick them in your pockets. So what does he do for his first story? He puts them in his pocket. Anyway, so you can... He's getting a bit mad on stage, I think. So next story, these are going to be waving. So the translation of that story is that his mother was very young when she gave birth to him. She was just a teenager. And his father was a white station man. And at that time, having a child with a white father and an Aboriginal mother, or vice versa, was not something that you wanted as a parent. And his survival actually rested in the hands of a woman who helped deliver him on the day he was born. Bidagalenja, that means born. So this Jatara, this old woman, saved him because his mother, just a teenager, couldn't face the fact of having a half-caste child and the trouble it would bring her and her family. So she chucked a code on him, said, let's smother him because this child is going to bring me trouble. And this old woman said, no, come on, don't do that. He'll be my husband when he's a man, when he's grown up, he'll be my man. And this woman was about 50 or so. Unfortunately for Peter, she was long gone when he became a man. But as funny as that anecdote is, and Peter does genuinely laugh about it, it's quite incredible that he was saved by the good heart of an old woman who said, I will marry this man, and that gives him the value. It makes him your promise one. What's the promise one? What's the word, boss?
Bilyano.
Bilyurba, yeah. And changes his mind every time we talk.
Bilyurba, yeah.
So there you go.
I made it short.
So what was her yini?
Minor.
So we pay big thanks to Minor because even though he didn't really have much of a say in that not giving in, it was his first survival story and first of like thousands. So Peter grew up on Maroona Station. He started work when he was about 8 or 10. No boots, no shoes, no hat, nothing. Just rounding up the rams because they were quiet, putting them in the yard. But rams weren't really where he found his love. It was on a horse, on a ngoro, that he found his love for bulugujari, for cattle. So he started learning from his grandfathers and from other old men around him how to muster, how to work with cattle. And the next time that Peter didn't give in, he was about 17 years old, boss. Yeah.
Yep.
And this story happens on a mustering trip between Maroona and Towra Station, which is the other next door. And I'm going to let Peter tell that story, and then I'll translate. Welcome.
Gunava, Polo Yari, Yanaja, Pigarleo, Urgaja Bardi. Anura, Yanaja, Chilikango, Manago, Polo Yarena. Kulvara, Nanya Polo Yarena, Calabria Polo Yare, Nanuralo. Kupalanya Polo Yare, Kudara, Polba, Pajanja, Munayaja Polo Yare, Nalberija Gunaba, Nadala Meraja, Maya, Tanayanama, Tanayanama, Nalayana Mororo, Corningo, Monova, Polba Udara. Yana Jangalejo, Mororo, Yana Jangorola, Chena Manago. Kina manang polo yari. Nanya ya polo kana wari noko churro yagarangora ngorola papa nyongo papa warbai yela warero yela churro warero papa warbai yela kapadere yara. Yana Rangana Pava Kuningo, Yana Ngana Pava Mano, Yana Nanya Wari Baba, Nadalo Nanya Whale, or in the Papa Parnamanangorola, Weganja, Kalanja, Portal Garingo Baba, Wela, Mandavillaro, Kuzara, Vidoria. Pelu Yare, when the Papa when the Willow, Nathalie, what did your Papa in the Nora Pajan? Tana Pajan, Pajan, oh, I'll Gandra Pajan Papa. Kulberarico, Yana Yango, Barilla, Moro, Cadaway, Bonia, Polo Yari, Young and Yellow. Welcome.
Oh, bugger your bacho. That means really good. Oh my gosh. Sorry, where do I start? So now as I say it in the white fellow way, boss, you got to act it out again. Because how good were the Mara? Oh.
Well, we're right now.
Miracle, So started going from Woodgaja, which is Maroona Station, to what's his name?
Tara.
No, what's his real name?
Big
Early. So he went to Big Early to pick up some Maroona cattle that had wandered off into the scrub.
And wandered off into the next door neighbour.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, you just want to go look over the fence and see what's there. So I was looking over there. And so Peter and his mustering team went to pick up these cattle from Maroona Station. Now they found all the cattle and they rounded them up. Anyway, these two bull. Oh, yeah. Mickey. Weren't they scrub Mickeys?
Yep.
Yeah, I know what that means. They were scrub Mickeys. And off they go, or they took off. They got away. So the head musterer said, right, we're going to go get them tomorrow, so we'll camp here tonight. Yeah?
Yep.
Whew. And we're going to go get these two bulls tomorrow. So I got up in the morning to go get the bulls, and they're following the tracks. What was it? Gina Manager?
Gina Manager.
Yes, they're following the tracks of those two bulls. Anyway, they only have these water bags that you put, or the neck bags you put around the horse's neck. It's getting hot. The sun, the Jura's getting higher in the sky. They're getting hot. They run out of water. And they're in country they don't know. Oh, I'm going to interpret that maybe they said something like, oh, no. Oh, gosh, whatever shall we do? I've never heard a cattleman swear in my life.
No, they don't swear.
No, they don't. Oh, no. So they're looking around this country they don't know. They're in Tara, you know. They don't know this country. So anyway, looking around. Oh, that's maybe you might have seen him. Oh, Baba Mara over there. What's the Baba Mara?
Windmill.
Oh, it's a windmill. Whew, we're saved water, Baba. Was there water, boss, in the trough?
Nothing.
Wadi Yongo. Wadi Baba. Oh, there you go. I've got the song.
No water in the tank or trough.
Nothing. How sad. So they had to go next door to the wheel. Anyone want to guess what a wheel might be? A well. Yeah, there's a linguist in the audience. Jackie, is that you? So there's a well, so they go and look at it. Oh, great, there's a well. So they get the banamano, which is the bridle from the horse, to go scoop up the water. They look down, and what's in the well but what, boss?
Dead bungara.
2 dead bungaras. So you might have said, I was like, because he's talking about it, or stewy. Oh, water's all stewy. Maggots, oh. But what are you going to do? You're in a hot country, you don't know where you are, you got no water, you got no choice. So they put the bridle down to get the water, and they pull it up. And head stockman, what did he do?
I said, you taste this water. Instead of him tasting it, he drank it.
So all the young fellas went, well, if he drank it, we got to drink it as well.
We had to drink it, didn't we?
They all drank the stinking water.
Just blow the maggot aside, and
Anyway, no one was sick at all, were they? No one got gulba. No, they did. They all got sick. But they got right the next day.
Yeah.
So that's the grossest of the 3 stories. But you came pretty close to being Wirtu, eh?
Oh, yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, you don't want to Wirtu. No. He didn't die, thank goodness.
Didn't die, yeah.
So we've got to fast forward a few years, and let me tell you that there were quite a few other close calls in that time, most of them involving bulls or like the buggies that you muster in the muster buggies, or a bull and a muster buggy at the same time. Many stories revolving around cattle where Peter almost died, that if we told them all, we'd be here until next Tuesday. So we fast forward all the way to a couple of years ago. I think it was 2018. And Peter kept this yarn quiet for a long time because he knew he was going to get in trouble with the people who, worry about him. Anyway, found out last year, I think we found out about this. So I'm going to let him tell you. And I want you to listen out for some of the words because he might say, what are you going to say, Bosh? You might say, gulba?
Ngada gulba.
Yeah. Wait. You're going to say gulba. So if you hear the word gulba, what does that mean, boss?
Crook.
Crook. Oh, okay. That was a bit of an anticlimax. Anyway, see how many times you hear him say the word. He's probably not going to say it now that I've said that. Gulba, he's going to talk about it though. Right, so you're going to tell him, Wakama?
Yeah.
Off you go.
Ngada yana ja. Polo kuningo.
What are you doing with your mara?
Ngandora.
There we go.
Ngada yana ja polo kuningo ngada gulba wari gulba bayo. Yana ja Kalala Churuka. Ngada gulba je bayo. Kalala Churuka. Ngandora polo kujarana kanya jana yard lavadaro ngada yana jangudai. Ngudai ngada walbala yana jana ngada la. Nora gulba ngada gulba. Nora yana ma Pullachi mayala. Ngada lo kanya nora na pullachi mayala.
That's it? Yeah. No, there's more than that. What about the gulaki? How did you get there?
Kulki ko ngada na kanya ya pullachi mayala. Pullachi wakaja kulkela. Nora lo kanya jana yinana. Ngada wakini nora la yina. Kalara nora kopama. Yina kopama. Yina wari warka kopama. Iwudu.
You forgot the most important part of the story and you had to come back, didn't you? Yeah. So he was mustering on Toorie Creek Station, which is in the Pilbara, and he'd been a bit crook. He's 21 or so he wasn't too worried about being a bit crook up here. It's fine. Winter time, no problems. Negative, 25 in the desert, not a worry for an old man. I mean, a young man. So he's a bit crook, and he goes mustering, and he gets up in the morning and I still feel a bit crook, yeah. So he does the morning muster, get the cattle, put them in the yard, and he goes over sleep. Gets up a little bit later, and this, what is it, Robert, eh?
Robert. Yeah.
Robert comes over and goes, "Hey, you sick? Not a gulba?" You heard that, huh? Gulba?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, I'm a bit sick." Oh, he goes, "We better take you to the hospital in Tom Price."
He said, "You're crook, I can see. I'll take you."
So sorry, I forgot that very important line. "Oh, you crook, right? I can see you're a crook. So I better take you to the hospital in Tom Price." And lucky that Toorie Creek, which actually the closest town is Newman by the road, but they were actually quite close to Tom Price at the time, hey? Yeah. Funny anecdote that you don't need to know. Anyway, so the Gurgi, the young girl, drove him over to Tom Price Hospital, and nurse, "Oh, hey, Peter, how you going?" Because everyone knows everyone in Tom Price, obviously. He's a bit hard to miss. And the nurse puts him in the bed, and, they do all the tests, poke and prod and everything. And they put the oxygen mask and, connect him up to wires, plug him into the wall. And he was in hospital for a week because he had pneumonia. And he was told that if he had been maybe an hour or two later, he would have died. So he was in big trouble with everybody because he had pretended not to be Gulba, but he was Gulba. And he thinks it's hilarious. I don't know. So this man, this 88-year-old man, who is, I'd say, a living treasure and a national wonder, or whichever order you want to put that in, he's survived racist government policies. He survived stinking bloody water and hot days. He'll hopefully survive the Judbalara coming for us. Watch out. They're gone, it's all right. And he's survived pneumonia so far, and we're really hoping that he doesn't get any kind of sickness while he's in Perth. He's quite an amazing man. And I'll do a little plug, sorry, Andrea, but we're performing at Perth Festival on Sunday at the B Shed. Please come. because he's also a singer. But this man has survived all of those things. And if there is anyone that I can think of, if I can editorialise just a little bit, who has not given in and who shows no signs of giving in, it's this man to my left, Mr. Peter Salmon. Come on, then off you go. You don't hit the light.